Hi, today's Friday, right? TGIF Friday, March 27th, 2026. So I will be traveling down to Gwangju this afternoon after the morning work at the office. Then we have company-sponsored Western Orchestra performance at the Seoul Performance Center, which is very near to our office. And then after that, it will be at 1 p.m. in the afternoon. We will sit down together with my colleagues, 5 of them, and we'll have a nice free lunch. Then I will start to head back to Gwangju, where my family is, my wife and 2 daughters. Then I will meet several of my acquaintances and friends. And Saturday and Sunday, I will be working at a small farm, helping with their chores, like pouring a feed to chickens, like 20 chickens or 25 chickens, and 2 dogs, and maybe till the land, small patch of land for planting cabbages, wild sesame. I forgot the English name. Pogola, Porola, Pocola, Perilla. I think Perilla, yeah, Perilla, something like that. And jujube or jujube seeds that I stored in my bag for a long time. As with other days, let's learn more about things around us. Epstein, the pedophile, right? Let's learn how rich he was. This article is from Business Insider, and it's about Jeffrey Epstein left behind a 630 million estate. Wow, man, that's a lot. The people running it say they haven't been paid. Wow, that's a lot of money, man. By Jacob Shamsian. So I guess Jeffrey has never been married, and he doesn't have children, maybe brothers and sisters. Then they are bequeathed, right? U.S. Department of Justice, March 25th, 2026. Darren Indyke and Richard Kahn manage Epstein's $630 million estate without salaries. Epstein's estate faces numerous lawsuits and expenses, complicating million-dollar payouts to Indyke and Kahn. Billion-dollar payouts, right? Billion-dollar payouts. They told Congress about Epstein's financial clients and plans to open his own bank. In Jeffrey Epstein's last will and testament, he named 2 of his longtime associates, personal attorney Darren Indyke and accountant Richard Kahn, as co-executors of his $630 million estate. He didn't give them salaries for the job. Since Epstein's death in 2019, while awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges, Indyke and Kahn have sold off his islands, mansions, and ranch, paid settlements to women who have accused him of sexual abuse, and dealt with other legal and financial headaches that the wealthy and well-connected pedophile left behind. Neither has taken a salary from Epstein's estate for that work, they told members of the House Oversight Committee in depositions earlier this month, right? In depositions. In their depositions, videos of which were made public Tuesday, each of them cited the lack of payment to explain why they believed Epstein bequeathed them millions. I am not getting paid from the estate. Let me go over this one more time. In their depositions, because I was distracted by some other thought. Okay, in their depositions, videos of which were made public Tuesday, each of them cited the lack of payment to explain why they believed Epstein bequeathed them millions. I am not getting paid from the estate, Indyke said in his March 19th deposition. In their deposition, Epstein bequeathed Indyke $50 million and Kahn $25 million. They were Epstein's largest bequests, behind Karina Suliak, Epstein's fiancée at the time of his death, who would receive at least $100 million. Suliak did not respond to Business Insider's requests for comment last month about the bequests. So bequeathed, bequest, right? Same thing. Bequest is a verb, and bequest is a noun. They are of the same family of origin. Etymologically, they are connected, right? Bequests, bequeathed, right? Bequeathed, bequest. Epstein's money still has a long road ahead. Indyke and Kahn may never see their millions from Epstein's funds. The money would be paid through an entity called the 1993 Trust, or Pool of Trust, that is set to receive all of the assets from Epstein's estates that remain once its balances are settled. Wow. The money would be paid through an entity called the 1953 Trust, or Pool of Trust, that is set to receive all of the assets from Epstein's estates that remain once its balances are settled. Right? Once its balances are settled. In his March 11 deposition, Kahn estimated that handling the estate's affairs would take a decade. Earlier this month, he settled a class action lawsuit from Epstein victims for $35 million. The estate has several other pending lawsuits from other Epstein victims, Kahn said, with more potential claims. The Epstein estate has about $127 million in assets, according to the most recent quarterly accounting publicly filed in the U.S. Virgin Islands probate court. In addition to satisfying all claims against it, the estate can't transfer its funds to the 1953 Trust until its investments are liquidated. Right, that's logical. What is a probate court, right? Probation, we know that probation. So probate court is, I don't know, junior court? I didn't know. Let's find that out later. The estate has investments in two funds with Peter Thiel's Vala Ventures that are together worth about $172 million, Indyke said. One is set to expire in 2026, but could be extended, he said. Interesting development. Richard Kahn, Senior, right, accountant, was deposed by the House Oversight Committee earlier this month. Right? Deposition, deposed, deposed, right? They have to express their position on the issue, their position. Another investment fund with a different asset manager was in the process of liquidation and is worth less than $10 million, Indyke said. Indyke said Epstein has investments in a firm, but the questioner in the deposition changed subjects before he could say its valuation. Questioner. Who is a questioner? Is that a question? Questioner. Kahn said in his deposition that the estate is burning through between $5 million and $10 million in legal fees and other expenses each year. Their top flight attorneys include Daniel Weiner, the chair of Hughes, Hubbard and Reed's litigation practice, and Daniel Ruzumna, the co-chair of the white-collar defense practice at Patterson-Belknap, who represent Indyke and Kahn respectively. Even after the Epstein estate's debts are paid, claims resolved, and investments liquidated, Shuliak would be the first in line to receive any money from the 1953 trust, according to its terms, which were made public through the Jesus departments, Epstein, just the departments, right? Jesus departments. Justice Department's Epstein files release. Kahn told members of Congress that he didn't expect to receive any money except for the $250,000 he will get once the estate's affairs are settled. I believe that it's likely that I will receive zero from Epstein's 1953 trust based on the value of its assets and its remaining obligations, he said. Jeffrey Epstein designated Darren Indyke and Richard Kahn as the co-executors, not executioners, but executors of his state, right? Executors, co-executors. Patrick McMullen and Patrick McMullen via Getty Images. Kahn said the $25 million Epstein left for him was approximately equal to the executive fee that the estate would be legally required to pay him if it were based in New York or Florida rather than the U.S. Virgin Islands, plus an additional few million dollars similar to what other legal employees, long-time employees stood to receive. Indyke, who said Epstein paid him a $2 million salary at the time of his death, says he continues to make money through real estate investments and through a separate legal practice. He is working at the law firm of Tim Palator, a former personal attorney to President Donald Trump, who is now an advisor to Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. What is going on? They just sounds like a coterie, right? They are in the same ring. Indyke said he didn't know why Epstein bequeathed him $50 million, far more than any other employee. Me either, man. Me either. Why he did what he did and why he gave money to whom he gave money to, we never had conversations like that with Epstein, Indyke said. He always did what he did for his reasons, and he never discussed his reasons with me. Epstein planned to open his own bank. The depositions shed light on how much money Epstein was spending. According to Kahn, Each year, Epstein racked up between $25 million and $30 million in household expenses, including payroll for staff, fuel, and maintenance for his private jets, and upkeep for his 5 homes. Because of that spending, neither Indyke nor Kahn viewed it as suspicious when Epstein withdrew a lot of cash, he said. JP Morgan Chase cut off Epstein in 2013 in part because bank employees viewed his frequent withdrawals of thousands of dollars in cash with suspicion. In 2008, Epstein pleaded guilty to sex offenses in Florida that involved paying teenage girls hundreds of dollars in cash for massages that turned into sexual encounters. Both Indyke and Kahn said that they weren't personally aware of Epstein's abuse of girls and women. Indyke said that when he personally withdrew cash from Epstein's accounts, he believed it would be used for household expenses. Jeffrey Epstein used so much cash because a lot of places didn't accept American Express, according to his accountant, DOJ's Epstein files. Kahn, who oversaw the petty cash used for expenses from Epstein's in-house accounting office, said he understood all of the cash payments to have a long-time legitimate use. According to Kahn, Epstein had trouble getting a credit card after JP Morgan cut him off, and many vendors didn't accept his American Express card. In 2013, Epstein moved his accounts to Deutsche Bank after Deutsche Bank cut him off in the late 2018 following the publications of a Miami Herald article about his sexual abuse of girls. Epstein's cash flow problems became so vexing that he tried to open his own bank, Kahn said. So vexing, right? Kahn, who oversaw the petty cash used for expenses from Epstein's in-house accounting office, said he understood all of the cash payments to have a legitimate use. According to Kahn, Epstein had trouble getting a credit card after JP Morgan cut him off, and many vendors didn't accept his American Express card. In 2013, Epstein moved his accounts to Deutsche Bank, but after Deutsche Bank cut him off in late 2018, following the publication of a Miami Herald article about his sexual abuse of girls, Epstein's cash flow problems become so vexing that he tried to open his own bank, Kahn said. Understandable for their part. According to Kahn, Epstein had held a dormant license in the U.S. Virgin Islands that permitted him to open a bank. He had begun moving assets into the entity that would become the bank, Southern Country Official International, but the plans ground to a halt when Epstein was arrested again in 2019, Kahn said. The plans ground to a halt. The plans ground to hold. Grind, right? Grind to a halt, ground to a halt, right? So it's a past form. The plans ground to a halt. The plans ground to a halt. The plans ground to a halt. Kahn's deposition revealed some other nuggets about Epstein's financial life He said he believed Epstein had a total of 5 clients who paid him for various financial services, which mostly consisted of estate planning. L Brands founder Les Wexner, Apollo Global Management co-founder Liam Black, banker Ariane D. Rothschild, former Microsoft executive Steven Sinofsky, and Highbridge Capital Management, the Glenn Dubin-owned hedge fund for which Epstein earned a consulting fee. Earned a consulting fee when it sold to JP Morgan Chase. Kahn expressed ambivalence about being a co-executor of Epstein's estate. He said the role caused tremendous strife for him and his family and caused irreparable damage to his own reputation. Irreparable. Understandable? Right? Caused irreparable damage. He took the role, he said, because he believed he would be able to fire Epstein's household employees in a respectful and kind fashion, and because his knowledge about Epstein's assets would ensure his victims would be compensated for the harm they suffered. Right? He took the role. Other than compensating victims, I would never take on this role again as co-executor. Kahn said. Yeah, after compensating, what should you do? You get paid, right? You need to take the estate to the 1953 trust, and you should help the accountant. What's his name, right? Kahn, is there anything I can do for you? Let me know, right? I'm a good citizen of Korea, and I can speak good English. Currently I'm a sales consultant for #1 company in Korea, a telecom company, but I have extensive knowledge about IT, and I studied mechanical engineering. I served 2.5 years with the U.S. Army, right? And also I was the Korean soldier too, ambivalent. I traveled 3 or 4 times to the States so far, I think 4 times, and once for Canada, but I visited China for 8 to 9 times so far. So, and also I speak a little bit of Chinese, right? I'm interested in Chinese culture, language, so we can work together if you are a good man, right? I know why you took the role, because you get paid. So that was the article, but let's go back and look up the what the probate court is. Yeah, I knew this court before, but I forgot. Probate court is a specialized legal system that oversees the administration of a deceased person's estate, including validating wills, paying debts, and distributing assets to beneficiaries. It also manages conservatorships and guardianships for individuals unable to manage their own affairs. The process ensures legal title transfer, often taking a year or longer, validating wills, appointing executors, asset management, resolving disputes, guardianships, and conservationships. So probate court, right? Probate court.
I'm Stephanie Burnham. I'm an estate planning and probate attorney licensed in New Hampshire and Massachusetts. Today I wanted to talk to you about probate court and why there's so much information out there about avoiding it and what it is.
Probate court, right?
Probate court is a process designed to help people move assets from the ownership of someone who dies to...
Okay. A deposition is a formal out-of-court sworn testimony given by a witness or party recorded for legal discovery, trial preparation, or use if a witness cannot appear in court. It involves lawyers asking questions in a conference room setting with a court reporter present. Synonyms include sworn testimony, examination statement, affidavit in a broad sense, and discovery testimony. So deposition is not expressing your ideas or truth, express truths in front of the judge, but it can be done in a court room in the court, but with lawyers, right? It's more like an affidavit. Affidavit is a written statement, but deposition includes video or audio recording, I think. A deposition is a formal out-of-court sworn testimony given by a witness or party recorded for legal discovery, trial preparation, or use if a witness cannot appear in court. It involves lawyers asking questions in a conference room setting with a court reporter present. Discovery, preserving testimony, impeachment, settlement, evaluation, under oath, right? Out of court in the law office, representation, recording, verbatim transcript, scope, limitations. Witnesses may refuse to answer if the question violates privileges, attorney-client, or leads to... Yeah, so that's why we have a questioner, right? A questioner is a person who asks questions, commonly functioning as an interviewer, investigator, or someone seeking clarification or information, right? Questioner. Well, that's it. Thanks for listening. Have a great Epstein-free day. But for someone who willing to learn more English, let's go over what I try to memorize. The plan's ground to hold. The plan's ground to hold. So vexing. Executor, co-executor, executor, not executioner. What the questioner. Probate court, right? It's a probate court. Once its balances are settled, bequest. In their depositions, multi-million-dollar payouts, million-dollar payouts, right? Million-dollar payouts. Well, that's it. Have a great TGIF. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.